truth is, I'm not really sure what happened.
If you came to prove, there's no reason to prove.
Hey, hold on just a sec. Helicon Gaming just sent me the GoXLR Mini, and they kind of put me in a little bit of a pickle. Look, I would love to do a full review on this thing, talk about the sound quality, the features, the I/O, like all the things, but the bottom line is, if you've seen any videos on the full GoXLR that came out last January, you know exactly how the GoXLR Mini is going to sound and function. They're the exact same thing. Same exact preamps, so they sound exactly the same. Same exact I/O, so they function exactly the same. All they've really done is they took this thing, they chopped it in half, took off the voice changer and the sampler, and then dropped the price almost in half also. And that's pretty much the GoXLR Mini. They took this half of the GoXLR, made it its own thing, and then made it more affordable. So if that's all you came to know, then cool, you're welcome. Go find another one of my videos in the recommended feed over there. Or, and hear me out here, we can take this opportunity and spend the rest of the video unboxing the GoXLR. I can answer every single question you guys ask me every day in my Twitch chat about the GoXLR, things like using wireless headphones, etc. And to avoid this looking like an ad, because it's not an ad, they did send me the GoXLR, but it's not an ad, they didn't pay me. I can give my suggestions after using the GoXLR for 9 months on what I'd like to see them add to this, as well as the future products that I would love to see Helicon Gaming release. Cool? By the way, feel free to follow me on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Link to that down in the description down below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to unboxing this thing, but we're gonna do it the right way. And it's time for another ASMR unboxing. By the way, I know the ASMR unboxings on this channel are very polarizing. If you hate ASMR, time code right here. Go ahead and skip it or mute it. You can mute it, skip to this point right here. Don't have to worry about ASMR. Let's open this bad boy up and see what's inside. That was already cut. Did I cut that? I haven't opened it yet. Got our USB cable. Wow, very simple. Very simple boxing. Interesting note, they didn't include a power cable. Though it looks like that's because there's no power input on the back. I think this might be bus powered. I just double checked the OneNote that they sent me. Turns out it is bus powered. It's pretty cool. They put a big sticker on the front that says remove protective film. It concerns me that they have to say that. Are you ready to peel? You don't need to remove the faders, but it makes the peel more satisfying. The faders feel nice. They have a lot more give to them. This has been another unboxing ASMR. I hope you enjoyed the ride. You're welcome for that, by the way. But we need like some kind of like animation, like title screen for ASMR unboxings. It's a thing on the channel now. Let's take a look at these two. GoXLR, GoXLR Mini. Side by side. Let's talk about what's the same, and then let's talk about what's different. Both had the exact same input with the exact same preamp, so the mic quality is going to sound exactly the same. Both have a line in, a line out, a USB, and an optical input called console, and then the headphone and the microphone input are on the front over here. Both have got the exact same dual function mute buttons at the bottom, and then they took the two buttons over here, the bleep button and the cough button, and they threw them at the bottom, so they're still usable for your mic. They both work exactly the same, with all the software inputs and outputs being recognized separately, so you can send your music to one channel, your game to another channel, your mic to another channel, and control them all separately with the faders. Essentially, it works exactly the same and sounds exactly the same. All right, let's point out the differences now. And there's some obvious ones, and then there's a not so obvious one. It's missing the voice changer, it's missing the sampler, and it's missing the screens above the faders. One other thing it's missing that you can't see from looking at it, these faders I mentioned during the unboxing feel a lot smoother. There's a lot more give. The reason they're a little bit harder to push is because they're not motorized anymore. That was one of the expensive features of the GoXLR that they had to cut cut out to save costs. I actually really like the feel of these faders. I would have really liked it on the regular GoXLR. The reason the GoXLR faders have to be much lighter to press is that if you have that much resistance, you'd have to have much heavier motors built into the motorized faders, making it even more expensive. You can still save presets like the old one and it'll save different levels. I'll explain how it works in a little bit. But taking out these things was their way of making the device much more affordable to everyone. That's pretty much all the differences though. It's essentially the exact same device, same quality, processing is all still done inside here, so there's no load on your PC at all. Let's talk about some of these changes and what it means if you're considering picking one of these up. Number one, no motorized faders. On the original GoXLR, you could have multiple profiles, and when you selected different profiles, the faders changed to wherever you needed them to go, or if you hit the mute button, the fader would slide down to the bottom for you. Without motorized faders, that's obviously not gonna happen. However, the functionality actually stays the same. Just like the regular GoXLR, each fader has LEDs indicating the positioning along the side of it. And if you change profiles, the LEDs will actually change to the indicated volume level, even though the faders won't move. And then what they did was actually really clever. Let's say you have your chill setting where you have your music really high, and then you change to your gameplay setting, and the music changes to really low. All you have to do is move the fader down to where the volume level actually is. Once the two cross paths, they latch onto each other and the fader's back in control again. Just super clever. And this way, new streamers aren't paying for 4 motorized faders. Another thing you notice, there are no screens above the faders where you can choose what it says, whether it says mic or chat or whatever. They are printed directly onto the GoXLR, again, to save on costs to make the thing cheaper. Even though the screen's not there, each fader is still completely programmable. You can choose what goes into the second fader. It's just still gonna say chat at the top. You can put console into fader number 2. You can move mic into fader number 4 where it says system. Doesn't matter. Other than that, I think the whole mixer functionality is exactly the same. All right, let's jump into a segment I like to call Stop Asking Me These Questions. I get them 5 times a stream. Look, there are a couple legitimate questions that I get 5 times a stream. And I get why you ask them. There's a lot of conflicting information on the internet. Let's put these to rest right now. Number 1, does the GoXLR take up a lot of PC processing power? No, these devices have DSPs or digital sound processors built right into them. All the processing is done on here. The app that you use on your PC is simply a controller. Check off that one. Number 2, can you use these with a wireless headset? Yes, there are a couple wireless headsets that will work with these. There are 2 that I am 100% positive about, and then there are a couple that I'm not sure. The 2 that I know for sure are the Astro A50s and the SteelSeries Arctis Pro Wireless. And I know this because I use a SteelSeries Arctis Pro Wireless with my GoXLR. The reason these ones work is because they're not just little USB flash drives that plug into your PC. They have some kind of hub or mix amp, something that has a line input. I'll show you. You know what? I'm just gonna grab it. Some kind of hub or mix amp like this that has a line input built into the back of it. My wireless headset connects to this, not a little USB stick. And how it works is I take a little aux cable, go into the headphone jack on the back, plug it into the line in on the back of this, and now the GoXLR is working exactly the same, and everything it normally would send out to the headphone jack, this device is transmitting wirelessly to my headset. Easy peasy. I actually don't even have this thing connected to my PC. It's just all my audio is going through the GoXLR. This is just a transmitter. Another big question is, do I need a cloud lifter if I'm using a dynamic mic like a Shure SM7B? Now, if I just had a lot of big words that you didn't understand right there, this is the Shure SM7B. Dynamic mics like this, and especially this one, have a much lower output than condenser mics like my Blue Kiwi that I use on stream. We're gonna play a game real quick where I give you some really technical information. Not that it's really necessary for you to know, but that way in the future when your friends are like, hey, do I need a cloud lifter? You can regurgitate this to them and they're gonna be like, how did you know that? And which, by the way, your answer should always be, you didn't know that? Always. That should always be your answer. Mic sensitivity is measured in millivolts per Pascal. What this means is for every Pascal of air pressure, or to oversimplify, for a certain amount of sound put into the microphone, how many millivolts are coming out of the cable. A condenser mic, for example, my Kiwi that I use on stream, outputs 18 millivolts per Pascal. The Shure SM7B, for comparison, outputs 1.1 millivolts per Pascal. It's got a super low output. And if you're plugging this into a really cheap mixer with really crappy preamps, it's gonna have a hard time boosting this loud enough without adding noise, which is why a lot of people add what's called a cloud lifter, which is essentially just another amplifier between your mic and your preamp that adds an extra 20 decibels of gain. Basically, it's a $150 device that makes your mic louder. And to answer the question, No, you don't need one with a GoXLR. These things have Midas preamps into them. They've got 72 dB of gain. They've got everything it takes. And you know, just in case you don't believe me, here you go. Shure SM7B connected directly into the GoXLR Mini. No cloud lifter in the middle. You can actually, here's the cable. Straight out of the mic, directly into the mixer. I actually could add 13 dB of gain if I wanted. I had to turn it down because the mic was clipping. Does that work for you? The last question that I get asked probably the most often is it worth it? Do you still like it? As someone who studied sound recording technology in college, that was my major, let me explain to you why this has become probably my favorite streaming device that I own. There are a lot of people on Twitch with really expensive audio equipment, but their audio sounds like garbage because they're turning one knob wrong and they don't know which knob it is. Even my audio when I first started streaming was super blown out, but I didn't know because it wasn't blown out in my headphones. It was only blown out in the output going back to my stream. It's just very complicated. The guys at Helicon Gaming went to a lot of gaming events and would interview streamers saying, what do you need on your stream? What do you want out of a streaming audio device? And then they built this. In my opinion, I think they've nailed the balance between sound quality and user simplicity. The sound quality of this device is great, by the way. It's not a $2,000 preamp, but it is a great device, and it's important to recognize that on Twitch, there is a quality ceiling. Not only is your stuff being compressed and sent through to live stream on a platform and you lose a lot of quality there, but also a lot of your viewers are watching it on a computer with crappy speakers or even on their phone, where something like a recording studio quality ceiling might be all the way up here. The ceiling of quality of Twitch is probably closer to down here, which means if you have one device that sounds this good and one device that sounds this good, they're gonna both sound the same on Twitch because this is as high as it goes. This $2,000 preamp is gonna sound the exact same as this $400 GoXLR, or I guess $250 GoXLR. Most people instead lose their audio quality by not understanding how to use their equipment properly, which is the brilliance behind this device. It sounds as good as you're possibly going to sound on Twitch, and they've literally made the thing idiot-proof. From setting up the mic to mixing to the fact that you hear exactly what your stream hears, so you know what your stream sounds like. They did an incredible job on these devices. And to be able to pack it into a little device that's $250 is one of the best things for the industry. I still do think there are a lot of creative options that Helicon Gaming hasn't jumped into that any other company could jump in and sweep up a large audience. For example, something I would love to see on a GoXLR is a version of the full GoXLR. And rather than take off this whole side, get rid of the sampler, which very few people use, and only give us one fader. Because frankly, I rarely use more than one fader at a time. I would love to see a device with a single motorized fader and the voice changer, and then have little left and right arrows underneath the voice changer if you need to swap to a different channel. The one I use most is chat, turning up and down my teammates. And I would have it set to chat all the time, but if I needed to go and change the music volume, I could hit the right button, and then this moves to wherever the music was at, and I can adjust the music. Then I can hit the left button and it moves back to where my teammates are. I think for content creators, a single motorized fader and voice changing would be an amazing device. So take notes. Comment down below if you want to see that. But dropping the device from 400 to 250 makes this a viable option for a lot of new streamers. So for new streamers out there who are trying to upgrade their audio rig, this is my upgrade path that I have recommended for you. I would start off with a solid USB mic, something like the Blue Yeti or the Samson G-Track Pro. When you're ready to upgrade again, I'd pick up the GoXLR Mini, and on the USB mic itself, there is a headphone jack. You are able to take an aux cable, go out of the headphone jack into the 3.5mm mic jack on the front of the GoXLR Mini. It treats it just like a regular microphone. The only difference is instead of using the fancy preamps inside the GoXLR, it uses the built-in one in the USB mic. So you're still not gonna get the full quality of this device. But that leaves you some room for the next upgrade, which would be a solid XLR mic. One of my favorite suggestions would be the Blue Ember at $100. I've also got another mic coming in this week or next week called the Rode Pod mic if you wanna find out a $100 dynamic mic option. From there, you're pretty much set with high quality audio until you blow up and get thousands of subscribers and you're ready to upgrade to a full-size GoXLR and $300 to $400 microphone. And you're ready to add the content creation side of the voice changer and the sampler and all those things. But that's it. That is my beginning to end audio upgrade timeline. If you have any other questions about the GoXLR, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. I'll be talking about them on stream as I usually do. Link to that's down in the description below. And as always, happy streaming.